History Coca-Cola. How the drink has become a world brand. How did the drink chosen in pharmacies become a symbol of the holiday and American culture? Coca-Cola is not just soda, a global brand that changed the approach to advertising, marketing, and consumption culture. The birth of Coca-Cola appeared thanks to Dr. John Pemberton, a pharmacist from Atlanta. In 1886, he decided to create a drink that could be worn with both medical and refreshing properties. Two ingredients became one recipe: coca leaves extract and cola nuts, complex stimulating properties. Pemberton prepared for a density by mixing sugar, water, extracts, and aromatic oils, conducting cocaine content in small doses, which is considered safe and used for medical purposes. The drink began to be sold on May 8, 1886 at the Jacobs Pharmacy in Atlanta. The port was sold for 5 cents and served as a tonic drink from fatigue and headache. 1. Once, a pharmacist accidentally mixed with soda water instead of usual, and this was a key moment. The drinker turned out to be refreshing and received the approval of the first customers. 2. The name and logo. Accountant Pemberton, Frank Robinson, came up with the name Coca-Cola, combining the main ingredients, and he wrote it with corporate font, which is still used. 3. Modest sales. The initial sales were low, only about 9 servings per day. In the first year, income amounted to only $50, the cost of production and advertising, $70. 4. The beginning of advertising. Pemberton placed the first advertisement in a local newspaper to attract customers. Coupons were created for free portions of drinks so that people could try the new product. 5. Transfer of rights to the new owner. Coca-Cola. In the first years of its existence, Coca-Cola remained a small, little-known product. Dr. John Pemberton, the creator of drinks, could not completely change his business due to financial and personal needs. Pemberton was a talented pharmacist, but not a successful businessman. He suffered from severe pain due to wounds received in the Civil War and suffered dependence from morphine. Its financial debts grew, which forced him to sell part of Coca-Cola rights to other investors. In 1888, businessman Asa Griggs Kindler, who saw the potential of drinks, went into business. Sendler began by buying partial rights on Coca-Cola from Pemberton and his partners. Before sale, Pemberton had already concluded a deal with other investors, including his son Charlie. Kindler convinced them to sell his share, gradually achieving complete control over the product. Kindler acquired the rights to Coca-Cola for $2,300, which by today's standards is a relatively modest amount. In 1892, Kindler spoke with Coca-Cola, which became a necessary step in the output of drinks into commercial success. He invested significant funds in advertising and marketing, created a popular Coca-Cola brand in the Atlantic, and then throughout America. The transfer of rights to the new Coca-Cola owner was a decisive moment. Thanks to Kindler's business chance, drinks from Pharmacies have turned into a world brand that we know today. The bottle of drinks. In 1899, Kindler sold the rights to a Rospel of drinks Joseph White and Benjamin Thomas. This Coca-Cola product is sold in bottles, not just in pharmacies. This is the solution-made drinks available throughout America. The evolution of the recipe and brand. Coca-Cola. In 1886, John Pemberton created the original Coca-Cola recipe, a drink of the starting raw materials from coca leaves, containing cocaine, and cola nuts that gave the drink a stimulating effect. In the initial recipe for drinks, sugar syrup, carbon dioxide, and slightly wine alcohol were also used. In the design of Coca-Cola, there were no cola or coca in the name. These were just 2 ingredients that were used in the recipe. 2. Changes in the composition. 1903. With the growth of public pressure and amendments in the laws in 1903, the company was forced to encounter disaster due to the recipe. This step. Coca-Cola has become a safe product for mass consumption, but at the same time, the drink did not become its popularity in the morning. As a result of changes in the Coca-Cola recipe, it has retained stimulating properties thanks to caffeine, but manufacturers have the main problem: cocaine. 3. Introduction of a glass bottle. 1915. In 1915, Coca-Cola introduced its famous contouring glass bottle, which became a distinctive feature of the brand. The bottle was developed so that it could be easily distinguished from other drinks behind the shelf. This bottle has become a symbol of Coca-Cola and an important part of the brand, which has remained unchanged for many years. 4. Change of directions and the creation of dietary drinks, 1960s to 1980s. In the 1960s began the struggle against growing competition, including Pepsi. Coca-Cola began to experiment with new tastes and options to strengthen its position in the market. 1963, Diet Coke enters the market, first dietary version Coca-Cola, which does not contain sugar and calories. This was a response to consumer interest in healthy products and the growing trend for losing weight. In the 1980s, the company continued to develop its directions, including Coca-Cola Zero 2005, which was also without sugar, but with another formula for taste. 5. Coca-Cola in advertising. Since the 1930s, 1931. Coca-Cola begins to use the image of Santa Claus in its Christmas advertising campaigns. This image became part of the festive culture and greatly contributed to the popularity of drinks. In the 1970s and 1980s, Coca-Cola created one of the most memorable advertising campaigns with the song, "I Would Like to Buy the Whole World of Coca-Cola," which became a symbol of the global fraternity and associations through Coca-Cola. In 1985, Coca-Cola carried out a large marketing move, releasing the new taste of Coca-Cola, which caused a storm of indignation among fans. A few months later, the company returned the original recipe for sale, calling it Coca-Cola Classic. 6. Environmental responsibility and new trends, 2000s present. In recent years, Coca-Cola has been criticizing high quality and health effects. To answer these calls, Coca-Cola began to invest in useful drinks, such as water-based drinks, juices, low calories, and energy drinks. The company is also actively involved in the solution of environmental problems associated with plastic bottles, developing more environmentally friendly products and reducing carbon emissions. Over more than 130 years of existence, Coca-Cola has gone from a pharmacy drink to a global brand, which was adapted to new trends, the changing tastes of consumers, and time challenges. This success is based on the company's ability to maintain its identity despite changes in the recipe and marketing approaches. Point 1. Coca-Cola during wars and crises. First World War, 1914 to 1918. The First World War played a key role in the globalization of Coca-Cola. The company faced the problem: how to maintain its popularity against the background of war, when resources are limited and public attention is focused on other people. Coca-Cola decided to sell products exclusively in the United States, but during this war it realized what was happening in other markets. At this time, Coca-Cola actively used the indicator of distribution to ads. A zone of issues of sale and distribution at the front was opened, which contributed to an increase in popularity among military personnel. In 1917, the company opened its first industrial enterprises in Europe, in England and France, which significantly helped strengthen its positions in the post-war period. 2. World War II, 1939 to 1945. During the Second World War, Coca-Cola played an important role as part of the moral support of soldiers, especially American ones. As a result, an agreement was concluded with the U.S. Army, according to which American soldiers received drinks at a symbolic price, only 5 cents per bottle. This was beneficial for the second side. The soldiers moved to the usual drink. Coca-Cola received an incorrect advertising and economy at the world level. In 1941, more than 60 Coca-Cola factories began to operate at the front line, which produced drinks directly for American industry. 3. The transition to globalization and competition with Pepsi during the Cold War. After the Second World War, Coca-Cola continues to expand its presence in the international arena, including in countries previously closed to Western brands. The Cold War also created new challenges for Coca-Cola, especially in the countries of the Eastern Bloc. Coca-Cola was not sold in the USSR, its own analogs. However, the company continued to actively promote its products in other countries, where the capitalist market. In response to strict competition with Pepsi in the 1950s and 60s, Coca-Cola began to develop new marketing strategies, including more active sponsorship of events, as well as the launch of special events on television and in the cinema. Today, Coca-Cola is one of the most famous and respected brands in the world, which is sold in more than 200 countries. The company manages more than 500 brands of drinks, including not only Coca-Cola, but also popular brands as Fanta, Sprite, Minute Maid, Dasani, Pau. More than 1.9 million are sold. Over more than 130 years of existence, Coca-Cola has gone from a pharmacy drink to a global brand, which was adapted to new trends, the changing tastes of consumers, and time challenges. This success is based on the company's ability to maintain its identity despite changes in the recipe and marketing approaches. What is your favorite taste of Coca-Cola? Subscribe to the channel, like, and leave a comment.